started in the culinary world?
So my brother, what brought me to Florida, and I've been in the hospitality industry for many, many, many years. So after culinary school, I went to Arizona. I was a cook. I wasn't making any money, as most cooks know. So I started waiting tables. I had a good base of knowledge from my culinary background. So I started waiting tables, and I eventually started working at nicer and nicer restaurants. And I worked at Ruth Chris for about 5 years. Great job. But as I'm working at Ruth Chris, I'm kind of looking around. I'm like, do I want to be a waiter the rest of my life? And I'm like, absolutely not. So I decided to go back to school. So I went back to school and got a degree in dietetics. So I figured between, my cooking background and then my, my degree in dietetics, there's got to be like something that I can do here, because I've always worked out. I've always been healthy minded, and I've always liked to cook. So my brother, in the meantime, while I was out in Arizona, opened up a CrossFit gym in Naples, Florida. So he gets me to come and move here, and we kind of collaborate on this idea like, hey, we should start offering prepared meals to our client base and see how it goes. So I'm like, all right, awesome. So we, try to start getting some feedback from people and say, hey, would you be interested in something like this? And we got like, yeah, we'll give it a try, right? So we went to a local commissary, which is actually St. Matthew's House, which is a homeless shelter here in Naples. They do a lot of phenomenal things for this community, and they agreed to let us use their kitchen during hours that they weren't using it. So I would get there at like 5 in the morning, and then I would have to be out of there by 11, because that's when they start their production for the day. So I mean, I had this window that I had to go in and prepare all this stuff, and then we packaged it, delivered it to the gym, and people really liked it.
And are you doing this on your own?
At that point, I was. Yeah, it was terrible.
And so how many people were you cooking for
like
during
30.
this time?
But still, it's a lot, right?
Well, I can't cook for two. Yeah, 30 is a lot.
But it was still the 8 meals a week. So I mean, I was making all these meals by myself, and like, yeah, it got very overwhelming really quickly. So that's kind of how it started, and then things started going well, right? So then what I did is I actually started employing people from the shelter. So I actually had some of the residents there, and gave them jobs to come and work and try to better their situation, if you will. So what we ended up doing is I had a guy come in. He's like, hey, I really like your food. I like what you're doing here. Would you mind if I went to other gyms in the area and offered this? And I'm like, sure, that'd be great. So this guy, Dominic, kind of turned into like a salesman for us. So he went around to local gyms and said, hey, we've got this product. It's going really well at this particular location. What would you guys think about carrying it? And they're like, sure, why not? Let's see how it happens. And then it went well. So now we're growing. And then it got to the point that to continue to grow, I felt like the next course of action, the path of least resistance, was home delivery. So not everybody wants to go to a gym.
So at that time you were only through the gyms.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So people could, like, if you wanted to have my meals, you could only go into a location and pick it up. So, which is okay if you're a member there, awesome, right? Because you're already there, you're working out, and then you just grab your meals on your way home. But if you're not a member of that gym, I mean, how convenient is it to have to run down Immokalee Road at 5 o'clock at night to grab meals? Not very. I mean, that could be like an hour commute just to get back and So the path of least resistance again seemed to be home delivery. Now I was terrified to do home delivery.